My biggest fulfillment comes from being able to help somebody else. I want to be able to create a space for creatives to be able to create. This is not a hobby. This is a passion, and this is a purpose, and this is a career.
You have a confidence level that is very high.
If you are not confident, this world would eat you up. When you're becoming something special, prepare to be picked out. Each season requires a different you, because sometimes you will be your own source of encouragement. Use your small goals to fuel the big ones. Know that you too can achieve it. Know that you are worthy of it, and don't let nobody stop you from flourishing. I want to talk about having intentional friends. But when you could have a friend that you could call when you feel literally that you're on your brink. We ask for dinner friends, we ask for travel friends, but a praying friend is very essential. Like everything just completely made a turn for the worse. It felt as though my entire world was crumbling and I had no control. I couldn't figure out what was happening. And in order to get to your comfort and get to what you have to accomplish, you gotta find some discomfort. God would uproot you to place you for better.
You having this conversation with God.
And he said to me, now is your time to go. And I said, well, how you just up and do it, God? And he said, you trust in me? I don't come up with things and cry, you know. He's a bad man.
I get the money and it's right on cue. Keep the duffel bag up inside my coupe. Hold a couple racks, tell them I love you. You wanna be a boss, do it like I do. Yeah. Get that money, I'ma flex. I get that money, I'ma flex. I get that money, I'ma flex. You now rockin' with the best.
Welcome back to another amazing episode of Gems from Friends Season 4. Get ready to dive into the exciting world of entrepreneurs, creatives, and professionals. Our guests will be sharing some incredible stories about their journey and all the cool things they have learned while building their personal brand. If you feel like listening on the go, then you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're more into the visuals, check us out on YouTube for the full experience. And do not forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the latest episode. Now, let's get into it. Before we get into the episode, I want to tell you a little bit about our membership site we built on Heartbeat. If you are a freelancer, a business, or a brand, or you're thinking about starting, then this community is for you. Sign up by going to your browser and type gemcity.app, GEMCITY.app. Sign up with your email and you will receive a magic link. You will also be prompted to download the mobile app. Once you get inside, you'll be able to connect with other entrepreneurs, personal brands, and creatives. You will also find courses and resources that can help you on your entrepreneurship journey. More and more content will be added each month. Come for the content and stay for the community. See you on the inside. All right, so I couldn't have had this podcast without bringing on this guest. The person in front of me is a recording artist, actor, influencer, speaker, entrepreneur, and I'm more sure I am forgetting something. But welcome, Akhnaten Burrowes. Did I get that right?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
I left off something?
I don't think so, you know.
Yeah,
I think
I got
that
it.
quite sums up. Yeah, me.
All right, that's a lot of things though. How you
Yeah.
juggling all that?
You know, it's all about balance. All of those titles really sums into one, which makes me as a person a creative, you know, entrepreneur. In long one short of, you know, there may be many titles in between there, but it really comes down to the basics: a creative and an entrepreneur.
Right.
You know.
Nice. One thing that I realized about you, you have a confidence level that is very high. What do you think is the secret to that? How you got that confident?
God's favor. Definitely God's favor, because if you are not confident, this world would eat you up. You know, so when I know that, you know, it's like knowing that you're a son of a king. You know, people would ask you, you dress up very sweet. And I would say, because my father is a king. They say, who's your father? I say, what? You mean the man upstairs you can question? You know, so, you know, when you know that you're a son of a king and a person who bless you abundantly in every season of your life, no matter how hard it is, it's hard not to be confident because you know what you've overcome or what you've been through. Yeah.
Have you always been that way? Can you remember when it turned on?
It turned on as I would definitely say when I realized that no matter what hurdle came my way, I was able to come out on top.
Right.
That's when I knew it, and that started in my probably could be in my I'm now 27, so early 20s. You know, I realized that this is definitely God shaping me into somebody different. You know, and I realized, so you know, I started to move different. I started to move and operate in that spirit of excellence because I knew that He had something special in store for me.
Nice. So, what was your first venture? I want you to give me the beginning of your story.
My first venture was in secondary school. You could not tell me that I was not going to be the next Rihanna. You could not. I used to be at school. The rest will tell you in the school pageants. I created a song. I came up with Smoke Foxtail. I did the most. I'm shocked on the smoke too, but who knew that because I was performing.
Right.
And you know, and I love fashion as well too. And how we would have first met would have been on the set for Puffy when you guys went for M People. And so that's one of my first loves as well, styling. So that would have been my first venture onto the entertainment scene as a stylist.
Right.
You know, and I still have a fond and a love for fashion and love for styling and creating. So that would have been my first venture, becoming a stylist, where I started with M People. Shout outs to Meredith Motley, you know.
Yeah, shout out. I actually forgot the stylists.
Yeah.
When I list off those titles.
Yeah.
So you went from that, and then what was the next step from there?
My next step was my love for acting. And you know, I never knew initially that's something that I loved. I just realized that's something I was gifted with. That's how I started the Bev character in 2015.
Right.
You know, just from analyzing and being around people in my neighborhood and older people, and just wanting to give people that nostalgia of something that reminds you of your Bajan heritage. And you know, you could be in Africa, you could be in the UK, you could be in the US. I wanted to give people not only just here in Barbados but abroad the opportunity to reminisce on their childhood.
Right.
And that's definitely how that would have started for me.
Okay. So what was the I mean, it's still going, right? Bev is still there.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm looking to take Bev now more from just a social media character to a full sitcom. So we're looking to work on live shows. We're now in the process of auditions and creating that live show that people can come and be able to enjoy that, not just in Barbados, but again in the UK, in the US, in Canada, in Africa. You know, give people that feeling. You know, I haven't been to Barbados, but I know I have Bajan heritage, and I want to, or I lived in Barbados, but I moved abroad, and I want something that reminds me of home. So that's what the character aims to do.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you get prepared to get into that character?
You know, it's so random that I think it was just home one day, and I decided to tie up my head with a pillowcase and start to mimic what I've seen. And you know, and I realized that this is quite comical, and I realized that people liked it. At that time it was only probably 15 likes and a 10 like here and a 3 comments and a 4 comments, and that was enough to propel me to do it more, because I realized that people had loved the character Beth. From 3 likes although, you know, I would have been a good day was 20, you know.
Wow.
So I that's what kept me going for the character.
Some people would have probably get a little discouraged with the 3 likes, but you kept going.
Yeah, for some reason, I was very contented with, you know, just seeing that a few people, for me, that was a lot. And in that season of my life, that was a lot, you know, and I was appreciative, because I know each season requires a different you. And each season, what is greatness in that season may not be greatness in another season. But for me, in that season, that was really, really great for me.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That's important. That's actually important to take note of, because a lot of people will not be contented or feel satisfied with 3 likes or 10 likes or whatever the case would be. And then like even some people will get like 100 and still think that is because they're comparing it with somebody else's likes.
Yeah.
But I often tell people, you know, don't take those little likes lightly. Like if you take 10 or 20 people and you put them in a room, you gotta think about it like that. Like don't just think that there's a low number. 100 likes is still a lot. Like you put 100 people in a room in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta give thanks for that.
For sure.
And then you got into the Bev character 2015, and then from there you went into your own business, or it didn't come yet?
It didn't come yet. The Bev character was in 2015, and then it kind of quieted down before, because I didn't want to be masked by a character Bev. And you know, a lot of people then would obviously come up to me and say, Bev, what going on? And he's a big strapping man, must be about 6'2". And there's always, you get weird stares when people call me Beverly.
I could imagine.
So people say, what? This big man named Beverly? So, I am kind of quieted down a bit. And so it went really quiet for a bit. And I felt as though like the season maybe needed to, every season is different. And who would have thought then in COVID, I remember my aunt who would have passed, she said to me before she passed that Bev is going to take you where you need to be. She knew my love and my passion for wanting to become an actor then for Tyler Perry. And she said, one day we were sitting, she said, I want you to do Bev again, bring back Bev. So random, and I said, man, I know that. And that was in 2019 before she passed. And actually, no, that would have been in 2020. COVID was just the pandemic. She said, bring back Bev. Pandemic didn't fully start as yet because remember it started a little later down. It was happening. It was happening. So that could have been in late 2019, early 2020. And she said, bring back Bev. And I was like, man, I'll think about it. It wasn't on my mind and on my to-do list. And I remember sitting on the bed. She had passed already. And I heard this thing clear as day in my head. And that was in this December for the Christmas season. Get up and give them a Bev. And that's where I did that video, Blind Stable Runners. And that was my first viral video.
Really?
That was my first, the video had probably over 2,000 likes. People holler for murder in Bajan terms when they saw that video because Christmas is Bajan. Bajans love to know that they're buying a curtain, or in Bajan terms, a blind, a new sheet, plastic. And I just wanted to give somebody a little cheer because it was a very heavy season. We were in an unprecedented time. We didn't know what was happening. We were in a place where we literally, it was an aliens attack. You did not know what was happening. I wanted to give people some comic relief. And that's where the video went viral. And I went from having probably like 2,000 followers, I see, to 5,000 followers. It started going up to 6. And then one day my friend called me and said, you see that you soon at your 10K mark? And I said, what? And I was very appreciative of the ones that I had before. But when I realized that it's a big deal now, people actually, you getting over 2,000 likes on a thing and shares and all that stuff. And then that's how that happened. That was the birth of Bev.
Well, that's crazy because that was just before you were ready to give it up.
Yeah, I was.
And you just go again.
Yeah, I was ready to call it I guess that's the part that I'm over now.
Yeah. I heard someone said in a sermon, don't stop doing what you're doing till God give you something else to do.
Yeah.
So just keep doing it. Even though it may not seem like it may not be working at your time, just keep going because it's that head time that you give it is just before it's to go up. That's good, man.
That's right.
So what was going through your mind at that time when you were going from 2,000 to 5,000 and again to 10? Like how you was processing that in your mind?
It was a really, to explain and to sum it up, you went from being a normal person walking around to people actually stopping you now and saying, I love your videos and your videos make me laugh. So it was very, very new to me to be in the public's eye because I went from, I could post my videos, just my few friends on my Instagram that will laugh and chuckle.
Right.
But I went from that to the whole of Barbados knowing who this person is. So it was exciting yet scary at the same time because you're now in the media's eye. So everything you do is going to either be liked or scrutinized, and that was the part I had to brace myself from. But it was also a very rewarding feeling for me because so many people said that in my lowest times, Bev made me laugh.
Right.
So it was really a rewarding feeling to know, that my comments, my laughter, my videos made someone, feel as though that I could do another day and that my heavy days could be light, So that was the impactful thing for me.
Yeah, I think that is also important to note. We talk about essential workers, but I think that people who bring comic to people's lives around that time is also important. You know? So you went into Bev in 2019, 2020, and then the name of your company is what again?
Tonian Lifestyle Services.
Right. And that started just after?
Yeah, so Tonian Lifestyle Services It's a combination of my two closest people who would have passed, which is my same aunt, Sandra Ann. Her name is Sandra Ann Burrowes, and my best friend Tony Nicole Miller, who would have passed away. And she died in November. She died in 2019, and my aunt died in 2020, 6 months apart. And at that time, it felt as though my entire world was crumbling, and I had no control. And living, having two people in your life who were very instrumental in your everyday life. We were literally inseparable. I don't even know how I was able to share the time evenly because both of them were my two absolute favorite people in the world. And it just went from having them every day to them completely vanish.
Wow.
Because they both died in traumatic ways. Tony, she dropped down. I was with her one day and she just died the other day. Suddenly she had sudden death drop down, and my aunt was shot while on vacation in Barbados. So
Say that again.
she was shot while on vacation in Barbados. It was an altercation in our family neighborhood.
Okay.
And the guy came and he shot her, and she succumbed to her injuries when she flew back to the US.
Wow, sorry about that.
And we were together before, like a few days before, and after that it just felt as though like everything just completely made a turn for the worse. So I was in a season where I could not figure out why would I be broken so much. It felt literally like I was being twist. Like I don't know if I felt literally like I was a clay that went into a full ball waiting to be restructured. And I can figure out if it was a good restructure, if it was a good mold, or is it a bad mold. Was this punishment? I can figure out what was happening. And I channel all of those emotions into doing something to honor them, which is Tonya Lifestyle Services.
Okay.
Both of them were the definition of integrity, going above and beyond, initiative. And the company is a company based on service, is a service-based company. We are your middle person. We meet you in the middle. So whatever you want, we provide for you. So you can't pick up your kids. We do property management. We do concierge and personal shopping. We're basically point person. You don't have whatever you want. We source it for you. We do procurement. So that was them in a nutshell. Whenever you think about fashion, you think about home decor, you think about initiative, you think about service-based. It was the two of them. And I wanted to create a company that was based on honoring them. And that's how Sonia was birthed.
Wow, I gotta give you the applause for that.
Yeah.
Because that is coming from a very dark time.
Yeah.
And you were almost like an alchemist where you took that negative
Yeah.
situation and turned it into something positive.
Yeah.
But and starting a business is not easy.
It is that.
So coming from that and then having the energy and the grit to start that momentum to build a company, what are some of the challenges you faced while creating that business?
Well, I came out of being a full-time employee, and I remember hearing God saying, and I listened to him a lot, even when I said, God, I don't know, you just put me through something but the heart, but here to do these things. And I have very authentic conversations with God. People say don't question God, but I have conversation with him, and I ask God some questions, and I say, God, I can ask you, you can ask me, you can tell me son hush, and if you tell me hush and don't ask you no more, I will shut up. So I have those type of conversations with him, and he said to me, now is your time to go. And I say, go do it. He said, now is your time to go. This is your season now to be the head and not the tail. And I say, but how you just up and do it, God? And he said, you trust in me? Have you ever seen my hands wax short? And I say, all right. The first time I completely ignored it. And he said, I can get a second chance. He said, if you don't move, you can see. Like literally when your parent says to you, all right, you don't know what we tell you, and you run to do it. And I said, what, I can take that leap of faith. And from the moment that I would have resigned from my previous job to the person, I literally saw my life on an upward trajectory. And not without fumble, not without failures, not without, crashing, feel like if though you're tumbling. But I literally have seen what I have accomplished in that space of time.
Wow.
I literally have looked back at the things that I would have written and realized that when God speaks to you, You know, we get so contented at the little small things, and we realize that God got something to you that you literally gotta reach out your hands to be, to hold.
Yeah.
You know, and he wanted to know, you want this or you want this? How you can get this if you don't take the chance?
Yeah.
We live in a country where people tell you, you gotta do this, you gotta stick to this. And even family will tell you, but you can live and do that, then how you can get through? And that's the story that creatives hear so much. God said, this gift that I have given you is going to fund you. And I say,
Yes.
I trust in you, God. I know, but I trust in you. And he has consistently been doing abundantly, exceedingly and abundantly in my life.
Great. And sometimes you gotta let go the smaller things in
That's
order
right.
to hold
That's
to
right.
make room for the
That's
bigger
right.
things.
That's right.
But sometimes I guess, as you said, is very fearful at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, because if something is serving you
Mm-hmm.
or bringing money and helping you to supply for your family, like people can't see past letting that go.
Nah.
That's a big risk.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you have staff now, you have a team. So you came from being an employee to now being an employer. What are some of the major things that you learned during that transition?
The first thing is trusting God. In every single thing that I do, people ask me, what's the secret to my success? And when I say sacrifice, I mean sacrifice through him. Sacrificing the things that I would have loved to do in order for the greater good. You understand? And I made that ultimate sacrifice to do something great. And I know that what I would have learned in this season is that you have to be very obedient, you have to listen, and you have to be very attentive. And I have a PA, and she's also, I've given, she's also front office manager, because she is definitely my core. She was there backing shoes with me, building the space, creating the space, and creating Tonyan Lifestyle Services. She was the core person.
Right.
And I want us talk about for a minute having intentional friends behind a
There we
business.
go.
She, as much as she is an employee there, she's also my business partner. She's also my confidant, because when they're my weekdays, she is there to reassure me that we ain't do this by fear. We ain't do this. This ain't a mistake that happened. This ain't a risk. This was something ordained by God. I remember before we opened the company, she was with me, and this was before we had a space. And she said, how you like this outfit here to wear in the office, Manda? You understand? She literally said, well, these folders say for the office. She was confident and knew,
Speaking it,
she spoke into existence that we will have a physical space. While it was looking, everybody said, if it makes sense, we can go open that, we can go live above your means, we can go open this space for. And she was adamant that he will do, she taught me that, so he will do exceedingly and abundantly above all acts. And she was intentional about it. And I remember the first day we walked into the office, she had on the same outfit that she said she was going to wear Monday.
Wow.
And my eyes was full with water, because she came in there one day. I said, I need to get this space up and running. She backed her shoes, and we built a whole structure with my friends to have the physical space that we had. She never doubted God. And let me tell you, see, a praying friend, we ask for dinner friends, we ask for travel friends, but a praying friend is very essential.
For sure.
A praying friend is essential.
And is there anybody else that you want to mention that supported you on this journey so far?
I have a really core good set of friends. I got Ted Roy, Alicia, I got Onika, which is Onika you heard me talking about. My mother for sure. My father, he came in every day and he was building out stuff for me. Rico, he came and he built up some stuff. I don't want to leave out anybody. I have a few friends, but those are some of the impact. When Carrie was also around as well too, and I had some friends that made sure. Meredith, Nancy was there for sure. Shout out to Nancy all the time. She was a key element in that as well too. I have some friend Nicole. I got so many people I could continue to keep calling.
Yeah.
But I just want a gratitude to the people, and who you are. Jamila, who would have helped me with so many different things of thinking and how to plan. And I just want to say a gratitude. Don't feel no way for calling them, because I can't take it all the time. This is not a DJ show. But I am appreciative to all of you who would have took the time to understand my passion and to be able to focus and stay the course with me in my dreams, even when to them it could have been something that, oh, I ain't know if it made sense, but they always showed me that you can do it. I got friends that's gassed me up in my seasons for sure, that has encouraged me to do things, you know, and you could never fail, you could only learn.
Right.
You know?
Right. So they got some people out there who don't have these friends. And they have a dream, they have ideas, they have vision, but they're just not in the right circle. They're probably around doubters. What advice you would give that person right now?
You know, I can first start by telling you who to trust in. You understand? Standard.
Yeah.
Because nobody understands the dreams that he has for you. And it's fine. Everybody don't have to understand the dreams. Don't always take it personal. That's the truth. There's some people who weren't built to see that far. And that's why you are there. So a person may use you as their example. Somebody may be looking on at me realizing, well, he ain't had a thing. And he opened a whole place and it running 1 year later. You know, what I would say is to trust in him and whom give you strength. Because sometimes you gotta be your own source of encouragement. You know, looking at small things that you would have accomplished. It don't gotta be that you buy a car or you buy a house. It could be that one day you wanted to get your license and you realize that you was determined to get it and you get it. It could be that maybe you wanted to build a fence and you didn't know how to build a fence and you look outside and realize that your whole house is fence. It could be that you didn't know if you could have walked from Bridgetown to St. Michael, Bridgetown to Christchurch, and you was able to accomplish that. Use your small goals to fuel the big ones. And when people don't believe in you, make that be your fuel to show them, oh yeah, I can get it. You understand? And watch some inspirational videos. Look on, you know, don't ever feel as though that there's nobody that you can't look on to, because there's somebody's story who could encourage you to know that they went against the odds and they would have overcome all the challenges that life would have placed them, you know, they were faced with. So anybody watching this video, know that you too can achieve it. Know that you are worthy of it. And don't let nobody stop you from flourishing. Don't let no thing tell you that you're on $1.
I heard that line on social media that had people going.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people actually go onto your social media and get gas up from there, boy. So I mean, it's not just you Bev, but it's just you as a person.
Yeah.
That would just turn on your camera and just start talking, and that give people the fuel to go on the next day. So you're playing many different roles, but many different missions, but the same purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's the next thing on your agenda?
The next thing on my agenda, so many things on my agenda
That you could share.
You know, that I can share, you know, is to continue to be in a space that is very fulfilling and purposeful. You know, you know, the plans that I got sometimes is make God laugh, because there are a lot of things that I wanted to do and God said, I ain't ready for that yet. You know, I just want to be in a space where I feel as though that I'm living and fulfilling what I'm supposed to do. You know, definitely see myself, you know, partnering with Tyler Perry or creating my own space and becoming the next, you know, Caribbean Tyler Perry, because I want to be able to create a space for creatives to be able to create. You know, I want to see creatives being able to have a sustainable job, and all of us in here are creatives, and I want to get people not only just in Barbados but across the Caribbean understanding that this is not a hobby. This is a passion, and this is a purpose, and this is a career. You know, and I want to be able to do that and create that space that people feel that way. I want to be able to encourage people like me who ain't come from much and who had a dream and a purpose and a passion, that you too can achieve it. When they look on and see me, I don't want to be your idol. I just want to be your source of encouragement, that you can become and achieve all that you put your mind to with little bit. You understand? Just keep going, you know, just keep trying, just keep pushing. So I want to be that person that encourages you to be your best self. I want to be that person that when you see me, you see that I can achieve anything. So that's my goal going forward, of who I want to become or what I want to become, is to create a space that we can all create generational wealth, not because of old daddy and mommy money, but because we come together and we would have helped one another. So that's where my mind is, creating things that, you know, it could be in Tonian, it could be in the creative scene, it could just something that could bring something else for somebody. My biggest fulfillment comes from being able to help somebody else, because my career would have propelled because somebody else helped me. never afraid to say thank you to people who would have helped me. Whether they thought they would have harmed me, they would have helped me, because each season and each person would have taught me and helped shape and mold me into the person that I would have become today.
Wow. Bro, that was a lot. That's a lot, man. I mean, I know you're a speaker as well. How is that going?
That
You're a
helped.
motivational speaker.
You know, I don't even know how that became a thing, because
you
I
get
just,
hired
you
to
know,
come into
you know,
spaces to lift people
lift
up.
you know, that just was something that I did with it. You know, I was intentional about who I wanted to be, and I started sharing that with people.
Right.
Because sometimes you need a little help being intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the most fulfilling parts about what I do daily. When I go into a space with lower energy, and I realize that when I left, people so hyped just to be good.
Right.
You know? People so hyped just because they feel good about themselves, and because life can be very challenging. And I shared a video yesterday, and I was literally in the cars listening to Yahweh, and I realized that, you know, life could be so difficult. And when you just, you know, when you could just get that little source, that little push to tell you that, you know, it has been difficult, but there's still a way. And, you know, my purpose talks, my motivational talks, it really, I am inspired by seeing people be inspired by me, because, you know, them charge me and I charge them, you know, and that's how we look at it. You know, I don't know
got
how
you.
to explain it.
It's an
you know,
exchange.
It's an
There's a loop
exchange
that happens.
When I realize that I could lift you up and you could lift me up too, it's such a fulfilling feeling. Because when my battery is low, I use you charge and you use mine. You know, just to push one another. You need somebody. You know, we talk so many different things, but when you could have a friend that you could call when you feel literally like you're on your brink, or a person you could go and watch that could be your full gas station. You understand? A full gas station. It's such a fulfilling feeling. So that's really important to me. And
I think we were made to collaborate.
yeah,
We weren't made to isolate.
yeah,
You know, so I think that's why we are supposed to exchange energy and lift each other up. You know, so I think that's just how we are designed.
yeah.
But I guess sometimes we often think that we gotta do it by ourselves.
That's right.
Or, you know, we get slighted sometimes because we had a bad experience, whether it's a bad partnership or
Yeah.
whatever. You
Yeah.
know, so then we go into a corner and say, "Man, I can do it myself," but then
Yeah.
you realize that you don't really
Yeah.
get far. You don't get far.
You don't. And then you become so bitter. You become so bitter. And I've had so many experiences that would have turned me bitter. And then I said to myself, I remember watching a video, and the video said, imagine this guy is holding a grudge 15 years later, and the person he's holding a grudge with is actually there excelling.
Right.
You were in such a doom and a sloop. You know, there's this saying that an airplane can't take off on a crowded runway. In our minds,
Wow.
if we keep our minds crowded, how can our aircraft ever take off? You ever been to you've been to all the big airports. You can't clear that runway till they got space for you to move.
Yeah.
Just like our mind, you know?
I never heard it put that way, but that
yeah.
makes sense.
Study it, you know?
Yeah. And I had another guest on here before, and they were talking about forgiving. And we were talking about sometimes not sometimes, all the time, forgiving is actually more for you than for the next person.
I could tell you.
So that's part of clearing
Yeah.
the wrong way.
If it was up to me, I won't forgive many people. I would never speak to them again. I got love them from the heart that God give me. Because I said, God, if it's up to this heart I will speak to one again, you know? But forgiveness is really for you. For you to move on and you to keep that out of your mind. And everybody, they're different types of people. And when we realize that there's some people whose traits are not even based on you, it's just some people don't know how to be good. So it's really not personal. Until you realize that some people being bad is not personal, you'd realize not to bear them in mind much longer. You realize, I wish them peace. I hope that they find peace.
Yeah. And we got to remember we're not fighting against flesh.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I want to touch a little bit about the Tyler Perry influence. I guess, are you still looking forward to partnering with him one day?
Absolutely. If Tyler Perry called me like in the future, let me wrap up this thing quick.
You might not even tell me name.
No,
You just-
I can be respectful because the next interview can be you asking me how it is operating out of Atlanta, or you calling you, tell you if you should come and see how the stage set.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, man. And I could see that you have a lot of faith in the other creatives as well. And I admire you for wanting to create a platform to lift them as well too, and not just you, because you're not just talking about yourself and
Yeah.
propelling you, but you want to bring other Bajans with you.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's good. So you working on a TV show as well too. Is that coming soon, or does the new work is already out, or?
So the first one you're gonna see is my new reality show called Absolutely Act. So
Okay.
it's all about me, these things that I do. It's all about creatives partnering with other creatives, being able to collaborate with businesses. So it's really about promoting not just myself, but by extension, seeing luxurious things, seeing food, seeing travel. So it's really a Caribbean reality show. And by extension, we move and we go abroad. So that's the next thing on the agenda. So the first episode will be coming up very soon. You know, I want to be able to have conversations that people are afraid to have in this show. You know, I want it to be very authentic. I don't want it to just be all about glitz and glam, but I want it to be about things that we see daily, things that happen, and how maybe we can overcome it. So a reality show with a purpose.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. Because there's some reality shows that
Has no purpose.
Just
It's just
disrespectful
drama.
and
Yeah,
toxic.
yeah. You don't want to be a statistic.
yeah. So that makes sense. What are some of the challenges you faced and how you overcome it when you were creating what you're creating?
You know, when you really think about, we talk about being an entrepreneur, being a creative, people see all the glitz, the glam, and people cover and envy you for the things that you have. Don't envy me. I used to work real hard. I got no fairy godmother, nor no godfather. You know, I work extremely hard. And I remember there was a time on social media, someone sent around something, and it was saying, you know, I remember during COVID, I had a Hyundai Accent. It was my first car that I ever bought. And during COVID, I remember getting a call that, you know, the payments are elapsing. And they say, what else can you do? This COVID. And I remember the option was either to make more payments or for them to bring it back in. I said, well, I can bring it back in because I can live in a car. And, you know, I remember my mind saying, Akhnaten, what the people can say that you don't got no car no more, or what can happen, what the conversation can be. And I said, well, you know what? I going back to Christian feelings. I drove the car that I used to drive, so it's my mother's car, and I sent that right back in. I had no qualms about it. You know, so this is me being very real and being very honest for people who would have had to make many sacrifices to let go for the greater good. I remember not having my own car, so I was driving my mother's car for a bit, and someone said, well, look, things like it bad, but he know, boy, he gone back to driving his mother car. And in one mind, it was like, shh, Peter's really sitting on stage. So her, and he next to me, like, you know that you're still comfortable, you know? And in order to get to your comfort and get to what you have to accomplish, you got to find some discomfort. God would uproot you to place you for better.
Growth.
Grow, you know? And I remember I had to give up that car that I would have worked so hard towards. And I said, God, you can take away the little car now? And he said, take your time. Well, drive your mother car, you can be all right. And I remember that car breaking. I had some real, I call that my humbling season. The car broke down. You know, I was driving and pulling out the gas and the car cut out. You know, I remember somebody sharing the thing saying, well, look at he boat there. And he driving his mother car and the car breaking down on the highway. And I said, God, let it talk, but I can still trust you. And I remember I then said, you know, I told Onika, it's time for us to go back and looking for a vehicle. And this in itself was a struggle because the enemy worked tirelessly to make sure I didn't get in a new car. The bank wouldn't approve it. The financial places wouldn't approve it. I kept getting no after no. I remember, and I say, God, I do not know what else to do. There's literally 2 years later trying to get a car, you know, and I keep getting no upon top of no. I said, God, I decrease so that you could increase in my life. He said, I've been waiting for you to do that. He said, well, how I could help you if you're looking for help for everybody else? Well, you won't give me no time to work. He said, I watch you run and do what you had to do. Before then, I said, well, you waiting for when you gonna ask me? And God, I said, God, I decrease so you could increase. And this year, I remember last year I was at a vision board party and I wrote on my car, wrote on the paper that I'm going to, for my 27th birthday, I'm going to have a Mercedes. I put that on my fridge.
And you got a Mercedes now?
Let me get to you further. And I wrote that on my fridge. And having a Mercedes wasn't just for me to drive around, but I wanted to take my business to the next level. How you could be doing luxury and don't give the people something nice to driving. And I said, well, I was so embarrassed one day. A man told me, well, you coming to do training sessions about developing people to be better than this car you driving in a good. You got to work for yourself. And in one mind, I wanted to sour him. And I said, he ain't telling a lie, He encouraged me to go and push to say that you really got to go and get this car. Because other people can say it, they may not tell you. And I wrote that on the fridge. And I remember writing it on the fridge and looking at it. And I remember saying, hearing plans to prosper you, not plans to harm you. And when they keep saying no, I hear God saying, who you listening to? They said that it's impossible for you to get this car. The first one I went through for, the loan get approved finally. I said, Lord, thank you, Jesus. Tears streamed down my eyes. Then I find a car. And the people said it just as I was about to get it. I said, God, but I know when I can get another deal. He said, who are you listening to? One day past Inch Cape and I see a car parked in the lot. And I hear God say, turn in there. Actually, no, like, it didn't park there yet. God said, turn in there, Doug, and got something in there for you. And I went to Jeremy and my other boy, Kareem, in there. And I said, we ain't got nothing within our budget, boy. He said, but wait, Sam might be coming. Give me a minute. Then went out to Norway, a car that I wanted to buy. That was sold from under my feet. They bought it.
Really?
You understand? And had it there for me. Because that's what it was for me. They kept the car and kept it until everything was approved and ready for me. And God said, what man tried to take from you, I'm going to take from him and give it back to you. Because they can't take away. And the car was right there. I remember taking a picture with the car in the car park saying, this is mine. I went back there yesterday, standing outside of my same car to go and get something done, and it is now mine. And I now have a Mercedes that I can take my business to the next level through all the hurdles, through all the crucifixion, through everything that they try to work against me with the enemy. And God said, I can take away from you to give you better. So this is a reminder to anybody watching. Don't think that the thing that you're looking to accomplish, it could be a house, it could be building on a back bedroom, it could be accomplishing your kitchen. God is going to provide exceedingly abundantly and above all acts.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So the guy that told you that, he actually told you that you cannot be doing this kind of speaking and you driving where you're driving? He actually told you that?
Yeah. He tell me that. Onika could tell you direct. Man, she look at one and think, I tell she, but I tell Onika.
Bajans ain't got no filter, boy.
No, they don't. I think people tell me some terrible things. You know, I've heard so many terrible things. Because as much as people love you, there are a lot that despise you. Mm-hmm. I heard so many terrible things about who do he think he is, and he ain't gonna become nobody, and he living above his means, and he doing all different types of things. I've always been intentional about my life, and I want to encourage everybody to be intentional. Everybody ain't gonna like, and it's not out of that. They don't think you could accomplish it. They're scared of all of your possibilities.
Right.
People are scared of who you're about to become. Mm-hmm. And when you realize that people are so much against you, there's a saying that I learned: little boys don't throw rock stones in trees that don't bear ripe fruit. When you're becoming something special, prepare to be picked up.
Got it. So you also mentioned a lot of times you having this conversation with God. Mm-hmm. And whether they're believers or unbelievers, mm-hmm. there are people that might be saying, well, how you getting to hear God? Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to people that would like to have that same kind of conversation?
We hear God, and we believe it's just a voice in our head. You know when God is speaking to you. God don't gotta come aggressively. He don't gotta do it. You just can feel the presence. When you tune in and tune out from the world and tune in and say, God, I'm listening to you. He don't always say things, but he shows you. Mm-hmm. And I want to give you an example of how God shows me things. When I opened Tonya Lifestyle Services, I had a sink. They were correct. He ain't got a sink. I really was living above my means opening that space. But I heard God say that I'm going to give you. So when you go forward and make those bold steps, I can give you. I had no furniture, no equipment, nothing. And they said, God, well, how you can get this space open? We done to get the place and I had nothing. I literally was walking into a room every day that had nothing. We were on the ground sitting down. Wow. And bit by bit, God keep providing. And I realized that he's saying somebody with this, he's saying somebody with that. And God gave me the resources. I don't know how I was able to buy these things. When I look back and I realized that I spent the amount of money I spent, I said, what's all that money come from? And I heard God clear as they tell me, focus and keep your eyes on me and I'm going to provide it. You would realize in your life, sometimes you tell yourself, man, look, things low here and you go home. You said, but there may not be much in the house to eat. And all of a sudden you realize that they got 2 loose carrots in the cupboard. You understand? And a tuna. And you do a tuna gravy and you find a small bag of rice. That's the type of God that we serve. You understand?
Not the 2 carrots.
You 2 carrots to do the gravy because he want to get a little sustenance in there. You understand? God is that type of God. God don't come up. God ain't always God do big fireworks thing. You know, God is do things in simple and subtle ways.
Right.
You'd realize that a day you don't know how you can get this bill paid. And at the 11th hour, you hear somebody tell you, I got $300 job for you. The same amount that the bill for.
Yeah.
Who else that could be?
True. It's true.
Who else could that be?
They come in at the 11th
You know,
hour.
listen and watch, and you will see the type of God we serve.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So on this show, I have a segment that people leave a gem. I mean, you left real gems here already, but I can ask you for one more, but I can give you one that someone left. So what the guest is going to do is leave a gem for the next guest. They don't know who it is. So you can leave one in return for the next one that we're going to have. So I can play the one that was left for you. All right?
My gem is that everyone is in charge of their life. Nobody owes you anything. Everything is happening to you. What's happened to you is all you. And you have to recognize that if you want to change where you are, what you're doing, you want to achieve anything, first start with you imagining and wanting to be that change. To change, if you want to become fitter, it starts. If you want to be financially independent, it starts with you. If you want a new career, it starts with you. And so you have to get up and imagine and dream. And then having dream, you have to believe it to be true. You can imagine yourself in that position. Imagine yourself doing the thing that you dream about. And 3, work hard at it. And it will happen. When Nifo was a summit that's in Mark 11:24. Whatsoever you desire, dreaming, when you pray, believe you will receive. This belief. That's living the dream. Living it even before it happened. You walk by and say, I'm the best bank coach there is ever. And the best economist. I'm going to achieve this. Which is, may appear to be a lie in the present time, but that's your dream. And it shall be done. So taking ownership of who you are, everything around you, and accepting your path, accept everything. It's all you.
And that was the gem that was left for you. You could decide to keep it or give it away. I guess you can keep it. How does that resonate with you?
I don't come on things and cry, you know. I's a bad man. It goes with my allergies. It's something to hear that y'all use, right? Yeah. When the governor could stop from handling finances to come and tell you exactly what you're going through, and he didn't have no way to know that was me, and that's how God works. We just people ask, how do you know God is talking to you? How would he know to say this to me in this moment? That's a prime example of how God works. See how he works?
Exactly.
He have just said everything to me, that who I am and who I am becoming and how I have operated, and that it all makes sense.
It's divine. The same way how you're about to leave something for your next person. Search your heart for something that you usually would use. Something that you always go back to keep you going. You know, like anytime that you're feeling low, because leaders also need encouragement, and they also need to tap into to other things, and they need the support. So anything that you could, any method or any tactic, any strategy, or any quote that comes into your mind or whatever, just could just say.
I wanna, something that I want to leave with the next person is that I want you to know that all that you are doing is not in vain. We see you, we hear you, we understand you, and you may have had a hard day before you come, and you may have been putting on your bravest face. And I want you to know that all that you have been doing is not in vain. I want you to take a moment and breathe in and out and look back at all the things that you would have asked about, all the things you would have prayed on, all of the things that you would have written down. And just think about one thing that you've accomplished out of those things, how small it could be, how insignificant it could be to you. Know that use that as your source to propel you to the next best and the great thing that you have on your mind. All that you are doing is not in vain. And I want for the next person who is coming to understand that, may this be a reminder to you that you are worth it and that you's a big one, and it all makes sense.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, it's been real. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for being authentic and not just sharing the accolades or the good things that happen, but also I don't want to even say the bad things.
Yeah.
We don't call that. It was just the things that allow us to grow,
Yeah.
the hard things. And thank you for sharing that and opening up yourself and, leaving that gem as well. And
Thank you
we will
for
have you
having
back
me.
soon.
Thank you for having me.
And it's a wrap. Data has shown that over 60% of you watching these videos are not subscribed yet. It would be a great support to me and the channel if you can just click that subscribe button and hit your notification bell. That way, you'll be notified whenever I drop a new episode. I want to tell you a little bit about our membership site we built on Heartbeat. If you are a freelancer, a business, or a brand, or you're thinking about starting, then this community is for you. Sign up by going to your browser and type gemcity.app, GEMCITY.app. Sign up with your email and you will receive a magic link. You will also be prompted to download the mobile app. Once you get inside, you'll be able to connect with other entrepreneurs, personal brands, and creatives. You will also find courses and resources that can help you on your entrepreneurship journey. More and more content will be added each month. Come for the content and stay for the community. See you on the inside.